All right, so today we're going to be going over our syllabus. This is for 134, Classic Contemporary Cuisine, section lecture is 21011, laboratory is 21012. Again, this is a Monday's class. Lectures from 7 to 7:50 a.m., laboratory is 7:50 to 20. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this class will be conducted remotely and online with required scheduled meetings. So for our class, we are required every day, every Monday, virtual meetings. Okay, so sometimes it might be short, sometimes it could be a couple hours or even longer. So it depends on what we have. Our prerequisites would be first semester and second semester. Again, some of you guys moved forward from second to third. Some of you guys moved from first to third. So those classes were waived. Okay. Now, regarding office hours, so anytime you want to speak to me or communicate with me, you guys could reach me anytime after 2:20 to 3:20. Again, you always welcome to email me if you want to do a private Zoom meeting so that we could discuss something, or if you have any questions regarding the class, okay? Or you could call my extension, but my extension, I won't be there, so it's up to you. I would always recommend just emailing me is the best form of communication. Communication is key. Los Angeles Harbor College promotes access and student success through the associate and transfer degrees, certificates, economic and workforce development, and basic skills instruction. Our education programs and support services meet the needs of diverse communities as measured by the campus institutional learning outcomes. Course description. So this is what you should be learning throughout our class. Students will learn to prepare classic contemporary cuisine in a fine dining restaurant setting, correct application of culinary skills, plate presentation, organization, and timing in the production of a prefix and a la carte menu will be practiced. Escoffier guidelines and contemporary chef's philosophy of food are explored and examined in light of today's understanding of food, nutrition, and presentation. Text required: Escoffier Les Gardes de Culinaire, The Fundamental Techniques of Classic Cuisine by the French Culinary Institute, Culinary Artistry by Durenberg, Page, and Wiley. Number 4 is Professional Cooking by Gislin. That book you will not be using in this class, but is required because it's our textbook for the program. So the ones that are underlined will be the books that I would for sure say that you have to purchase or rent or whatever you have, so you could continue in this class successfully. Number 5, The Flavor Matrix. This is another book that I say I recommend it because it also helps you with developing, right, the sense of taste or what different flavors or what ingredients go well with each other, and it kind of helps you. You know, why reinvent the wheel if they already did it for you, so that you could just see it and adapt it and become better chefs and develop your menus. Recommended text, Le Repertoire de la Cuisine. That is another book that I recommend. That is, again, that's kind of a pocket version that you could have with you. So in case you want to know what exactly are the ingredients in certain dishes, that's the book to have. You also have Classic Cooking the Modern Way by Eugene Pauly, The Food of France by Ray Root, Traditional French Cooking by Kornensky, French Menu Cookbook by Olney, Artisanal Cooking by Brennan and Friedman, and Refined American Cuisine by O'Connelly's. Another book I also would recommend is Bouchon by Thomas Keller, and then The New American Chef by Durenberg Page. Student learning outcomes. Upon completion of this course, the student will be able to understand good cooking, the taste, importance of details, and systematic approach to classic contemporary cuisine, practice all major cooking techniques, the amount of heat required to achieve the desired results, the tenderizing effect of the cooking method, the correct cut of protein, vegetables, starches for said cooking technique. Understand the realm of culinary artistry, cooking as a trade, a craft, and as an art. Again, that's where we're going to go over the chapters and then have our class discussions. Recognize sensory perception, seasoning, seasonality, aromas, textures, the correct doneness of cooked products. Grasp the matter of taste, how the effect of flavor, global technique, intensifying flavors, enhancing flavors, and experimenting with flavors. Understand the concept in the composition of a dish, identify the use of menu as shared experience, the principles of menu planning, the seasons, the ambiance, and the place of the course. Discuss the chef styles, influence of chef styles, the chef as an owner, global cuisine, and communicating the chef's point of view. You know, there's so many chefs out there. Every chef is different. They have their own style of cooking. So we'll discover that in this class. Methods of instruction will be using Canvas as a platform to do lectures, discussions, demonstrations, videos, have information sheets, virtual field trips, and Zoom meetings. Again, the student is expected to attend every meeting of all classes. Absence in hours exceeding the number of hours the class meets week may be cause for exclusion for this class by the professor. Online etiquette. Some helpful hints with regards to taking an online class. Be respectful to your fellow classmates and instructor. Be aware that what you write may be misconstructed or misconstrued, so that think about it before you send it. Do not write all in all capitals. This is considered shouting. Do not belittle any of your classmates' opinions, ideas. Everyone is entitled to their own ideas, whether you agree or not. It is okay to disagree in a conservative way. Do not expect immediate responses to questions just because this is an online class, right? What that means again is that, yes, if you do have questions, just make sure you email me, right? So you should get a response within 24 to 48 hours, right? Now, unless it's in the weekend, then you may get a response maybe until that Monday morning or Monday. So again, anytime you have any type of questions, just make sure that you email me, and then you should get a response from me from 24 to 48 hours, hopefully sooner, right? When working in Canvas, be sure to save your work often so that if the server system fails or turns off, you won't lose any of your work or any of your coursework. So make sure you're always saving, saving, saving. When you submit an assignment or correspondence, please allow up to 1 week for the reply from the instructor. Please be patient, right? As your instructor is grading 40 to 50 submissions. This class is 20, so it should be a little bit easier. When working in Canvas, be sure to save again your work often so you won't miss it. Classroom conduct, there's only 15 instructional days during the session. Broken limbs, the flu, grandpa's funeral, about a few valid reasons for missing class. However, the premise of no shop, no grade applies. There are no excused absences. Therefore, there is no provision for extra credit, so make sure that you attend class every day, okay? Students are expected to be in Zoom lecture and laboratory at all times during this class. No participation points will be given to students for being absent. Student may drop the class prior to the class drop date deadline and avoid any penalty grade. It is the sole responsibility of the student to take care of the paperwork in this process. The professor will not be involved. Consult all student handbook and or college catalog regarding other pertaining regulations. Be extremely aware of the dangers of plagiarism. It is the responsibility of each student to research and be cognizant of the following week's items, their mise en place and methods of preparation and production of assignments. Uniform equipment. You should technically be in uniform when participating in shop class. There may be time when you complete certain assignments during Zoom meetings, so you have to have your tools and equipment ready to execute your dishes if need be. Now, again, it just depends, right? Most of the time, I'll probably do a lecture, then do the demonstration, and then I'll break you off. Or if we have certain things that we'll be doing in class, that I'll let you know ahead of time so that you're ready for it, and then we execute it live during Zoom, right? So like that, it's kind of something that you could execute done fast, whether if it's practicing our knife skills and then you just showing me your knife cuts, right? That could be something that we could do then and there, right? Students with disabilities programs and services, right? Students who have special needs because of physical communication or learning challenges are invited to visit the Special Programs and Service Office to speak to program representative about the eligibility service available. Again, they're closed, but they're there virtually, so you have to go online for that, right? Please inform professor of program eligibility once qualified by the SPS office. Students are welcome to contact Special Programs Services office at 310-233-4622 for more information. You guys could visit this website right there on the bottom, right, for SPS webpage. Plagiarism is a form of cheating. Any student who uses the published or unpublished writing ideas and the words of another person without crediting the author will receive a fail for the assignment. Further disciplinary actions may be taken if a student copies from another student's paper. This is also plagiarism. In this case, both the students will fail the assignment. Please see the LHC Academic Senate plagiarism policy for further clarification on plagiarism. ASO insurance policy. The ASO provides an insurance policy for all students who sign up and pay for the ASO fee. Students who receive free words are not automatically enrolled in the ASO. Therefore, you must pay ASO to be eligible for the insurance policy. If you are enrolled in culinary due to the nature of this class, all students are not required, but I recommend to have the insurance. Okay, so that should be is not required, but again, I recommend it. Now, I will send out more information, so in case there is any issues or you need some help with the first aid or whatever, Nurse Carol, I'll make sure I'll get information, her cell phone number or her email, so that in case something does happen while you're practicing your knife cuts or cooking and you get burned, not necessarily that she'll be there for you, but at least you'll be able to contact her in case she could give you some first aid tips. So in case you do get burned, you do get cut, what to do, what you're supposed to do, what not. Disclaimer, students in this class may be subjected to material which the student may find offensive. These may include visual or text representations from the following areas: sex, profane language, religious theories, economic theories. Instructional materials. Students may be required to provide instructional and other materials required for a credit, non-credit course. Such materials should be of continuing value to the student outside of the classroom setting and shall not be solely or exclusively available from the district. Recording devices. State law in California prohibits the use of any electronic listening or recording devices in this classroom without prior consent of the teacher and the college administration. Any student who needs to use electronic aids must secure the consent of the instructor. If the instructor agrees to the request, a notice of consent must be forwarded to the Dean of Academic Affairs for approval. Grading. Upon completion of this course, the student will receive a combined letter grade of 50% theory grade and a 50% laboratory practices grade, right? So again, your theory grade, you'll have your e-portfolio. That's going to be worth 130 points. Now, if you're not able to do the e-portfolio, I will still allow you to do a hard copy portfolio that I'll go over in detail down the road on what you're supposed to have, right? But make sure that whatever dishes that you take pictures of, recipes, research, your menus, all that stuff, you start categorizing them, keeping them all neat and organized. Whether if it's notes, and if your notes are messy, then I would recommend typing them so that you keep them nice and organized, so that when you do present this to someone, it's nice and clean, uniform, and there's no issues with it. You guys will also be executing your classic French menu. This is a 5-course. Now, this menu, all you're doing with this is you're actually developing your French menu. You will have 5 courses. Now, those 5 courses, you'll type them up. On one side of the menu will be in English, and then on the other side, it is your responsibility to type it and translate it into French. Okay? I know it may be challenging, but with baby steps, you guys will be learning a little bit of French in this class. Okay, so again, my best friend throughout these last couple of years has been Google Translate. Is it perfect? No, not necessarily. I know there's one of you guys that speaks French, so maybe you could always ask that student. But again, you're always welcome to email me, ask questions before you submit it, and that'll be due on an assigned date. That's worth 55 points. Now, your contemporary degustation menu, that is a 7-course menu. Again, that 7-course menu will be based off of whatever cuisine you want. So I'll leave it up to your discretion on how you would, whether if it's going to be, Colombian menu, Portuguese menu, Hawaiian menu. I'll leave it up to you. So I'll leave it as like your chef's degustation menu. And again, we'll go over a menu sequence today. Then you have your contemporary chef's report, where you're gonna write a report about a chef. I know it's hard to interview a chef right now, but the main thing with this was for you to interview a chef and then ask all those questions, right? Why did you become a chef? What do you love about it? What's your style of cooking? So on and so forth. And then that would be kind of the way to open the door so that hopefully you could get a job in that person's or that chef's restaurant, right? So again, I know it's going to be hard due to the COVID-19, so you may do it off of someone else that you can interview, right? But that's worth 50 points. Then culinary artistry discussion activity, 7 at 20 points each, worth the total 140 points. So this one, again, the discussions will be posted through Canvas. You have to go to Canvas and then submit your summary or your answer to the questions, right, that we have on there. And then you will have to also, again, reply to your classmates, or either add the, I would say, constructive criticism, right? We don't want to be putting people down, but again, whether or not you do agree or don't agree, so on and so forth. Okay, or give them your point of view on why you believe that, right? Then again, the individual French vocabulary presentation. So this vocabulary presentation is for you to, again, get acquainted with public speaking. So you will be in our Zoom meeting, and I'll be sharing my screen. You'll be sharing your screen, so you'll be able to present your French vocabulary. So you'll come up, right? Introduce yourself, and then you'll start with your French words. So then you'll say your French word. You'll talk about the history. You'll talk about the adverb. You'll talk about how it's utilized in the kitchen, so on and so forth. Again, all the actual vocabulary words that I give you, there's a reference for it in a food sense of meaning. Okay. And those words, I will assign you guys 10 French vocabulary words that you have to come up and then introduce to the class. Quizzes. There's only 4 quizzes for this class, each worth 25 points. Again, my quizzes are going to be based off of your homework, the history of the dishes, the ingredients of the dishes, and the procedures. And I'll go over that when we do the homeworks. But again, make sure that you guys study the lectures that I give you for this class and the homework, because it's going to be based off of the homework. Most of the questions will be on the actual quiz. Okay, that's worth total of 600 points. Then for the laboratory grade, now practical final is going to be worth 200 points. Utilizing Escoffier Le Guide de Culinaire, prepare a contemporary French entree plate. Prepare a main entree utilizing a chicken breast with the appropriate sauce and garnish. Now, if you decide to utilize a leg and thigh, then that's fine as well. Serve with the appropriate starch and vegetable. That's worth 20 points. Sanitation. Keeping your work area clean, frequent hand washing, proper prevention of time temperature abuse, and cross-contamination needs to be demonstrated, meaning not be demonstrated. You do not want to cross-contaminate. Properly sanitizing hands and equipment between uses. Sanitizing solution has to be correctly treated. Mise en place and menu. Label all ingredients. Work systematically on one job at a time. Maintain tools and equipment organized. Maintain dry and wet garbage receptacles and reusable receptacles. Menu packet. Provide 2 type sets with recipes, procedures, and a diagram and entree dish. For you guys, since you're doing it online, you just need to send me a copy of your menu packet. Okay. Fabrication, utilizing 1 whole chicken, fabricate into 2 drumsticks, 2 thighs, 2 chicken breasts, skin on with the first joint wing attached, 2 wings, and then 2 tenderloins. Proper utilization of all ingredients must be demonstrated. Cooking techniques, utilizing the correct method of preparation for any given food item. Cook items according to its cooking technique, not over or undercooked. Balance and cooking. Make sure you balance out your cooking techniques, meaning you have a grilled chicken, then you have a sauteed vegetables, and then you have a steamed rice. So you have to balance out all your cooking techniques. Presentation and flavor. Food is served hot. Proper portion size, color, height, appropriate garnish. Dish must be pleasing to the eye. Properly season every component in your menu. Balance your plate with flavors like sweet, salty, bitter, and umami. Balance your food textures, meaning you can't have everything pureed, right? You may have a fried item that gives you some crunch or crispiness. You could have one pureed item, and then you could have one item that is still semi-firm, or you never want anything to be too hard, right? You just want to balance out your sweet, your flavor profiles, and then also your textures, whether if it's going to be a crispy item, pureed item, or semi-soft item, so on and so forth. Practical knife skills exercise is worth 40 points. Again, there's going to be 14 laboratory contact days, 10 points per day, 140 points. Actively participating in Zoom meeting. You'll have 11 cooking assignments at 20 points each, 220 points. This, again, you'll develop a food journal that includes a 1-paragraph summary of how the dish came out. How did it taste? What went right? What went wrong? And what did you learn about the dish? Include a second paragraph with the history of the dish and a recipe to include the ingredients and the procedures. Now, if you do have a recipe, I will allow you to utilize the recipe that's in the fundamental techniques of classic cuisine, but make sure on the bottom of your recipe you do state it where you got it from. Now, again, if you don't have the book, then you're going to have to do your own research and find your own recipe. I still may give you a recipe, but it is still your job to research your history and still find a recipe or the procedures for that dish. So again, this semester is all about not just cooking, but you have to do your research. Why? Because we talk about how the different histories of certain dishes, right? That's what your quiz is going to be based upon, right? What ingredients are in the dish. So you have to kind of recall these ingredients on what certain dishes have what ingredients, right? Or what's the history of that dish, right? So make sure that you guys are still doing your research for your homework, okay? This also includes a picture or video of a mise en place, right? We all know what mise en place means, everything in its place. So you would take a picture of your ingredients before you get started, and then you'll take a picture of your finished product with you in the image. So make sure you're able to see the image of the product, okay? Then you'll submit the summary and pictures or video through Canvas. So make sure you submit it through Canvas. This, again, is worth 600 points. A total overall 1200 to 1080 would be an A, 1079, 960 would be a B, 959 to 840 would be a C, 839 to 720 is a D, 719 and below would be a fail. Required uniform miscellaneous. All right. So again, these are things that are recommended. Again, at your home, you probably have different things. 2 heavy standard kitchen cloths, the embroidered jacket, bistro apron, chef hat as needed, disposable paper to be replaced, your chef jackets, your chef pants, your non-slip work shoes, your pocket notebook, your instant read thermometer. Tools. You'll need, of course, your 10-inch, your 12-inch, or 8-inch French knife, or santuko, paring knife, boning knife, flex or stiff, serrated knife, a slicer steel, vegetable peeler, wooden spoon, fish spatula, plastic spatula. When I say plastic spatula, I mean a high temperature plastic spatula. Why? Because when you're cooking certain dishes, you're cooking with heat, and if your spatula is not a high temperature spatula, it's gonna melt or it's gonna melt into your food, and no one wants to eat plastic. I would also recommend a zester or a microplane, tongs, fish pliers, a channel knife, and I'll go over the tools in garnish. Your channel knife is pretty much for garnishes. Instrument thermometer. Optional would be a benriner or mandolin, a Japanese mandolin. Okay. Miscellaneous things that I would recommend: pocket calculator, 5-pound digital scale, black markers, 1-inch 3-ring binder to keep all your stuff organized, pens, pencils, color pencils, index cards. No one has a digital camera now. Everyone has phones. So I should switch that out and put phones. Then we're going to have our tentative class schedule. Week 1, okay, course overview, orientation to classic and regional French cuisine, menu sequence. So that's where we're going to be lecturing. Next week, guess what? You could have the day off. No class on Monday, so don't expect anything to be there or maybe on Zoom next Monday. I'll be there Tuesday, okay, but not Monday. Week 3, you guys are going to be doing appetizer assignment. Week 4, contemporary cuisine. Soups 1 assignment, okay. Quiz 1 will be based off of regional French cuisine and appetizers. Okay, so it's going to be based off of my lectures that I went over on regional cuisine and then also appetizers. And remember that your quiz may have questions regarding what's in those dishes as well. Week 5, writing French menus, French vocabulary project, and then you guys will be doing soups assignments. Okay. So going back to soups, for soups 1, you'll be executing 2 to 3 soups for that day as well. Going back to week 5, writing French menus. Again, this will help you develop your French vocabulary, so we'll go over those. Week 6, we're going to be doing our vegetable assignments. We'll be doing 4 dishes that day. Week 7, we're going to be doing the chef as an artist discussion activity. And again, that activity, I may just have a couple questions to you through Zoom, but that discussion is all done online through Canvas. Classic French vocabulary project will get started, and then we'll also be doing starches 1, our assignment. Okay, so we'll have maybe 2 dishes for that. Week 8, we're going to be doing the medium ingredients is a discussion activity. Classic French vocabulary project, and starches 2 for your assignments. Week 9, we're going to be doing composing flavors discussion activity number 3. Students will be presenting their classic French vocabulary project. We'll be doing meats that day, so I'll do my demonstration on meats, and then you have to execute your meat dish. Then you're going to have quiz number 2 based off of soups, vegetables, and starches. Either lecture or recipes, right? The history and the ingredients. Week number 10 will be composing a dish discussion activity number 4. Students will be doing their classic French vocabulary project, poetry assignment. So I'll do a demonstration on a dish, then you guys will execute the dish. Week 11, composing a menu discussion activity number 5, classic French vocabulary project, student contemporary chef's reports. Okay, so that's the day that you guys will be turning in your assignments for contemporary chef's reports. Quiz number 3 will be on meats and poultry, and then for the actual assignment of the day, I'll be demonstrating how to cook fish 2 different ways, and then you'll be executing the dish as well. Week 12, involving the cuisine, you'll have discussion activity number 6. Students will present their student contemporary chef's report, and then we'll be doing desserts. And then on that day, 11/16, you'll be turning in your individual classic menu project. That is where the 5-course menu written in French and in English typed. Okay. Week number 13 will be culinary as a communion, discussion activity number 7. Basic chocolate will be demonstrated, and then students contemporary chef's report and desserts 2. Week number 14 will be on Yvette's chocolate decorating technique. Quiz number 4 on fish and desserts. And then whatever students are left regarding their contemporary chef's report. And then your individual degustation menu will be due that day. Again, your assignments that you have to turn in like that will be turned in through Canvas. Okay. Week 15, you have again students' contemporary chefs reports plus your practical finals. That practical final will be probably either your knife cutting or your entree classic contemporary final. And then week 16, you'll have student contemporary chefs reports. You'll have your written, or you don't have written finals on this one. Whatever practical finals are left, whether if it's going to be the knife cuts or the entree one. So it just depends on what you have for that as well. All right, so that pretty much kind of covers our syllabus for the day. We'll be going over to different items. Let's see.